What's My Line? Brought to you by Geritol, the high-potency vitamin-iron-rich tonic in liquid or tablets to help you feel stronger. And now, let's all play What's My Line? And now, live from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now, a gentleman whose baritone voice will be the sweetest ring the Bell telephone hour ever had this coming Wednesday night, Mr. Steve Lawrence.
And on my left, a lovely lady who, when she found out I was going to be on the Bell telephone hour, she told me to complain because the light on her princess phone is out. Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And now our Prince of Publishers, Bennett, Cerf.
We've had a great honor conferred upon What's My Line tonight. Sitting up in our control booth are Mr. and Mrs. Eugene Black. Mr. Black was for years, of course, the guiding genius of the World Bank. And every Sunday we have conferred upon us another honor. We have among us our panel moderator, the omniscient, dazzling Mr. John Charles Daly.
Steve, it's nice to have you back on the panel.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back.
We'll celebrate it tonight by making you all happy at the very beginning of the program. We're going to have something a little bit special, so be ready with your blindfolds.
Oh.
And we will also have a famous mystery guest before the panel. Still later in the show, we'll meet our first challenger after... All right, now, panel, for reasons which will be discovered to be sufficient, you have been asked to blindfold for the first guest. Are the blindfolds all in place?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, will our first guest please enter and sign in? May I ask if you're familiar with our scorekeeping system?
Yes.
In that event, we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is for our purposes tonight. All right, panel, we can tell you that our guest is self-employed and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
If there had been papers in New York this week, would your name have appeared in one of these papers?
Maybe.
Maybe. If it had appeared, would it have been in a special section of the paper rather than on the front page?
Yes.
Would the section have been the entertainment section?
Yes.
Would it have been the motion picture page?
Yes.
Are you a star of the films?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you, however, have something to do with motion pictures?
Little.
No?
A little.
A little?
Mm-hmm. There is, in other words, what we're trying to convey, a connection here, but we don't want to mislead you.
Are you, if you would be represented in the papers, would you be represented more than once a week in the papers?
Sometimes.
Do you have a column in the papers?
Yes.
Have you just written a book in which you have told the truth and nothing but the truth?
Oh, I could kill you.
Kevin Hoffa?
Right. Arlene, you're right. As Hedda has written a book, The Whole Truth and Nothing But.
But I would like to add that I've read it, and it's a wow humdinger of a book.
But I just had an interview with her last week, but I told you I was going to New England. Why didn't you remember that?
You told me you were going to Detroit.
Well, that's New England.
Well, how did you think I was going to be here? I was in New England now.
didn't. I just took a chance, and I'm delighted you are here.
Well, so am I. I had a wonderful time with you. You gave me a wonderful interview. You know,
Thank you,
she's wonderful. Do you ever hear her show?
Oh, yes, actually, I've had the joy of being with her on the show.
Oh, have you? Well, then
Arlene
you know.
Arlene can make even me talk.
Oh, try and shut you
I just
up.
can't
That's
make him
what
say
you-
No, wait a minute. How nice to have you with us. And
Nice
thanks
to
very
see
much
you
for
again.
joining us. Congratulations. I should explain that just before Miss Hedda Hopper left the stage, she turned to our audience here in the theater and said, last time I was on, not one of them knew me. But didn't do as well tonight. Well, very good beginning, panel. Let's see what we can do with the second challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Peggy? Getz, right? Miss Peggy, where are you from?
Fort Lewis, Washington.
Fort Lewis, Washington. Well, now, I think we will tell the panel, because I think they would probably guess it anyway, that Peggy is a student, but she is also an entrepreneur. And because of her extracurricular activities, she's our guest tonight. May I present our panel to you, Peggy? Would you join me over here now? Do you know how we keep score on What's My Line? All right. In that event, we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel. We're going to tell you that Miss Getz is self-employed and that she deals in a product. And we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mrs. Getz, is it a product that I might use?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Is it a useful product?
Yes, I think so.
Is it a product that both men and women use?
Yes.
Is it found in the home?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it something that one would see if one came into one's home to visit?
No.
You mean, would it be as a natural and normal thing on display in the home to the casual visitor?
No, that's what you mean. That's not what I mean. What I mean is it possible, John, that if I were to go and visit somebody, they may bring out a product that Mrs. Getz may have something to do with?
I mean, Miss Getz.
Miss Getz. I just married the girl.
Well, I think that now that you've explained the question carefully...
Then
this
I'm going to
would
get
put
a no
different, yes, I think that's right. That's one down and 9 to go, Mr. Lawrence.
Would this be in a particular room that, would it be in a particular room rather like the bedroom?
No, sir.
No, it wouldn't actually, Steve. If it was in the house, we could agree that it might be kept variously
Well, I
around
thought if
the
you wouldn't
house.
see it when you came in, I thought perhaps it would be somewhere hidden in the bed. I should have listened to you. That's what I-
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Miss Getz, is it likely that this could be used other than in the home?
Yes, ma'am, it could.
Could it be used out of doors?
Yes.
Would that be likely?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it larger than a bread box?
No.
Because I can think of some rare instances where it might be. No, but that's not fair, Dorothy. The answer is really a flat no. It is not larger than a bread box. Mr. Cerf?
Miss Getz, has your product ever been, or is it still alive when you're using it?
No, sir.
No.
Never been alive.
4 down and 6 to go. Arlene?
Does it have anything to do with entertainment or pleasure?
Yes.
Would someone employ the use of this product if they were playing a game of some kind?
Now, when you say playing a game, sometimes
Now,
you mean...
there you go again, John.
But you mean a game of entertainment of some kind.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Well, and if... this is a little difficult. Let me talk to Peggy for a minute. Well, taking your question in its broad context, we will agree that it's possible that this product might be in use while playing a game of some kind.
All right. Is it a product that one would hold in one's hand?
I mean, could you hold it in your hand?
Yeah.
Or would you, in using it, hold it in your
No,
hand?
but could you hold it in your hand?
Yes.
Or is it... You can?
Yes, you can hold
Don't be dubious, Mrs. Getz. Don't let John Daly frighten you the way he does
Mrs.
us.
Getz, please.
You made her Mrs. Getz again.
Well, I know a Mrs. Getz, and the whole thing is so complicated.
Then why don't you know what she does?
Is it?
You know, Miss Peggy's 15. I don't want her mother and dad climbing my frame next week.
Is it solid rather than liquid?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it have any metal in it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go. Steve.
It's solid.
Jackson.
And you say it's something like a game. It can be used as a game?
It is something that
In the
could be
broad
in use
sense of the
in
word.
some kind of a game.
And it can be used indoors as well as outdoors.
Well, I would think if your question is it normally used indoors?
No, I didn't ask that question. I was just...
I'm having a rough time.
Yes, Arlene. I don't know any Mrs. Getz
he was
either.
trying
No,
to
I was just trying to
clarify.
establish... I was just trying to... What am I trying to do, Arlene? I'm trying to clarify. That's what I'm trying to do. We had established that it is used in a home, or it can be found in a home.
Yeah.
We've established it can be found in a home and that it can be used outdoors.
And it can be used outdoors. And,
You want to give up?
no. It's something that is not larger than a bread box. It's not metal. You make a pretty good product. I'd like to be the first one in 14 years to give up. What do you do? I pass.
All right, Miss Kilgallen.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
You're welcome.
I'm really ready for this. If it's not made of metal, is it made of any type of wood?
No.
No.
it's not.
That's 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Peggy, is your product used in any kind of sport or athletic activity?
Yes, sir.
Might it be used in some sport or activity that is done in or near the water?
It is possible that it could be used in some activity that was being conducted in or near the water, but this is not
It can also
necessarily
be used-
restricting it to that
can
area.
also be used. Is it used in a game that is played by 2 people rather than a team?
Well, Steve, let's you and I leave while we... I would say that that's a difficult question to answer. Can you think of a game that 2 people, would you want to say yes to that? I'll leave it up to you, Peggy. I'm a coward.
I can't think of one where 2 people...
That's the girl. That's 7 down and 3 to go. You're doing wonderfully.
I didn't hear the answer.
Peggy said she can't think of a game which 2 people could play, which
Would use
would
it.
Well, that's because she's only 15.
Oh, if I knew it was going to be this kind of show tonight, Arlene, oh.
Peggy, is the material that this product is made of, is it a pliable material?
I hope so.
Yes? Does it come in different shapes and sizes?
Well, now, wait a minute, I'll have to ask Peggy. Oh, Peggy makes them all the same size. That makes it 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Lawrence.
But don't mislead us. I mean, are they always one shape?
Well, I'm not as expert about this product as I would like to be, but I would think that very probably it would not be necessary to make it in various sizes. You would anticipate that the single size would adequately handle most of the...
It has been established that this can be used by both men and women.
Yes.
Now, can this be used by children?
Yes, it can.
Do you sell a lot of these, whatever it is? Is it something that can be worn?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Would you look better or feel better for wearing it? Or...
Well, I think that if you were to wear it under the circumstances indicated, you would agree that you would have a sense of well-being that would not be present if you were not making use of the product at the time.
What did he say, Arlene? Is this something that, is it worn below the waist?
No, sir.
That's $9 what to go.
I'm not going to listen to you anymore. Let me play my own game, Arlene. Ask her if it can be worn above the waist.
Can it be worn above the waist?
Yes, sir.
Is it worn somewhere other than on one hand, as in a mitt? I can eliminate that.
Yes, it is worn...
I must say that was going through my mind.
Yeah.
Is it worn above the neck?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it headgear of any kind?
Headgear. Yeah, I would say that very generally we would describe it as headgear, taking into account that the head covers a rather substantial area, of course, depending on the size of the head. It's a rough night.
But she makes it all in one size. All sizes of heads. Your product is made in one size, but it can fit lots of people. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it stretches, Dorothy.
That's what I was thinking. Does it cover any part of the face whatsoever?
Yes, it does.
Does it cover the eyes?
No, it does not.
That's 10 down and no
Thank
more to
you,
go. Do you have any ideas, Bennett? This is great fun. What Peggy makes is a nose warmer.
Nose warmer?
Nose warmer. She found that these were very useful, particularly up in the chill climes of winter, you know, and when you're skiing or playing hockey or something like that. And she makes them herself and put an ad in a magazine and got 800 orders.
How do you tie it on, Peggy?
It's, there's a piece of elastic sewn onto it, and it
Just snap
fits
it
over the
on?
ear.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think it's nice they're all in one size since noses aren't.
Peggy, I hope you had some fun. We puzzled the panel so that you could go back to Washington, and it's almost like having a medal. And it was wonderful for you to
Thank you.
come and join us on What's My Line. Nice to have you. Pretty successful business lady at the age of 15, doing much better than I ever did, I must say. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment. But first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger. And the panel, once again, is blindfolded. The blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes,
sir.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? As you know, a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you in the entertainment field?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf.
Could you, by any chance, be the star of a play that has recently opened in New York?
I wish I were.
That's one down, 9 to go. Miss Francis?
But are you someone who has appeared in the theater?
Definitely.
Mr. Lawrence?
Have you also appeared in motion pictures?
Definitely.
Miss Kilgallen?
Did you win an Academy Award, and are you Tulu the Bankhead?
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Are you in a motion picture that is at present playing first-run houses around New York and other large cities?
Not for a long time.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you appear on television?
What? No?
Who doesn't?
The answer for that is yes there. All right, Mr. Lawrence?
I think it's Hedda Hopper and she came back. Do you appear in a weekly series?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Did she say yes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Dead on those. Is it a situation series?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
Is it a program that is presently appearing on the CBS network?
No.
No!
4 down, 6 to go, Miss Francis.
I have caught the timbre of the voice. Shall I pass and see if they can get it?
Yes, that's so fun. Let's
Yeah,
see.
because I'm sure I know who it is.
All right, Mr. Lawrence?
Are you the star of this weekly series?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Do you play a domestic?
Oh, you mean thing.
You were doing Tallulah for a while, weren't you?
This is the best I've ever done.
Yes. Oh, it's
Wonderful
wonderful.
disguise you had tonight.
And of course, the wonderful show is Hazel on Thursday nights on another network which has to be nameless because it's NBC. Right? Right. That takes care of that in a wonderful series, but I must say that it is a joy to have you sitting beside me.
Well, thank you. It's a joy to be sitting beside you.
This is, I just came back from Washington, so I know some things about you. I went down for the Gridiron dinner, you know.
Oh,
and
yes.
I've read in the Washington papers you were there on Friday.
Yes, and had a wonderful time. I've fallen in love with our president.
Well, that's
He was
just a
very
long line.
charming. I was there as the chairwoman for the Crippled Children's Easter Seal Drive, and I went with the little girl to the White House. And he couldn't have been sweeter. Gave us about 20 minutes of his time, and it was very funny. The little girl was not the slightest bit fazed by it all. I was doing all the trembling. But she was very calm. And the only thing she didn't want to do, she didn't want to face the cameras. And she stood with her back to the cameras. She was afraid of the flashing lights. She kept blinking her eyes at me. I couldn't think of anything else but trying to get this child to turn around so anybody could see her, because she was very pretty and very sweet. And finally we put her in a chair, and she said, I went to the Senate yesterday, and the senator gave me a pen, and the president said, oh, goodness, that's just what I was going to give you. So instead, he gave her a bracelet with a PT boat on it and a little medallion, and she was so happy with it.
And how old is the little girl?
She's 8 years old,
8
very
years old.
bright, and getting along beautifully.
Ah, that's wonderful. Well, it's not surprising to find you again giving your great heart and your great talents
Well,
to
thank you,
such
John.
worthy activities.
I haven't done very much, but I was very glad to do what I could.
Well, I'm sure just the fact that you're there as the chairman is going to open up a whole lot of hearts
Well,
and
I certainly hope so,
pocketbooks,
because
too.
there are 19 million crippled children and adults, and nothing can help them as much as everyone buying Easter seals, and maybe we could do as much for the crippled children as the seals, Christmas seals, have done for tuberculosis, and the March of Dimes has done for polio.
Well, there you have it. Shirley Booth is your chairman this year on the Easter Seal campaign, so get some Easter seals, will you?
Yes, please
For
buy
sure.
it.
And thank you so much. Connie, for doing that. Well, I must say, panel, you've done rather well tonight, nose warmers and all. Congratulations. We'll be back after this word from our alternate sponsor. Well, Steve, you're lots of fun. Nice to have had you with us tonight. And,
Thank you, John. It's always a pleasure to come here.
and good night, Miss Arlene Francis.
Good night, dear John. Good night, dear Steve. Remember me to Edie?
I sure will. Good night, Arlene. Good night, Dorothy.
Remember me to Edie, too.
I will. Remember me to Edie, too, will you?
Good night, Bennett.
John, I hope Miss Getz will remember that she was married briefly on this program. Good night, John.
And Bennett, not only once, but over and over and over again, Miss Getz was married on this program. Well, our very best to Edie Gourmet, Mrs. Steve Lawrence, and again, thanks to all of you who've joined us on this Sunday night. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Woodson and Bill Codman. Johnny Olson speaking.